In the heart of the grand hall, Ling Han orchestrated a feast unlike any other, gathering the most exquisite treasures of the mortal and demonic realms. He placed into a great cauldron the meat of the fiercest demonic beasts, the radiant Merit-treasured pearl, and the rare dragon blood tyrant ginseng, each radiating a subtle aura of power even before the flames touched them. Though Ling Han's hands lacked the artistry of a master chef, the mere combination of such heavenly ingredients released a fragrance so potent that nostrils flared and hearts quivered with anticipation. Helian Tianyun's eyes sparkled with longing. The Marit's treasured pearl! Even I failed to claim it in those bygone years. And dragon blood tyrant ginseng, I have tasted only a single root. His voice trembled with desire. These belong to Niu. Do not dare touch them. Hu Niu barked, her tone sharp as a drawn blade. Helian Tianyun, undeterred by the warning, let his gaze wander and, with an audacious grin, said, "Little girl, have you been promised to another? Could I not be a worthy match for you?" Before his words could finish, Hu Niu's fury struck like a tempest. Her assault fell upon him with a force that sent him sprawling, each strike a thunderclap of humiliation. Begging for mercy, Helian Tianyun could only feel a shadow of despair creeping into his heart. In a former life, his presence had commanded the heavens, yet here, reborn, he was beaten by 3 in a matter of moments. His legendary dragon might, once a terror across the realms, now seemed shackled, impotent against this little girl's wrath. "Damn brat! Could this child be your own kin?" he bellowed in frustration. Such suppression, though once dominant over his own kin and other races, now faltered. "Niu belongs to Ling Han." Hu Niu's proclamation rang out as she stamped her tiny feet upon him, driving him to the brink of despair. Helian Tianyun's spirit sank deeper. All treasures and beauties seemed claimed by Ling Han. His prodigious disciple was Ling Han's son, and now this mysterious little woman had become his bride. The injustice gnawed at his heart. The feast itself became a battlefield of appetite. Even cultivators of the heaven tier approached the meal with caution, savouring only a few spoonfuls lest their bodies rupture from the influx of energy. Ling Han, Hu Niu, Helian Shun Shui, and Helian Tianyun, however, devoured with abandon, their hunger insatiable. Helian Shun Shui soon withdrew, not from satiety, but from the need to refine the torrent of essence within her. Ling Han, Hu Niu, and Helian Tianyun pressed on relentlessly, their vigour undiminished. Helian Tianyun's frustration grew. "My body, nurtured by the true dragon's tooth, should withstand any consumption, yet even so you surpass me?" He felt the strain of his limited cultivation, a shadow of his former majesty. Hu Niu merely rolled her eyes, a silent verdict on his inferiority. Eventually, Helian Tianyun settled aside to refine, his essence soaring as he broke through multiple layers to enter the gushing spring tier, now standing on equal footing with Ling Jianshe. Yet he knew the climb beyond, from heaven tier to shattering void, would demand prodigious energy, an ascent spanning years rather than moments. Ling Han and Hu Niu, already masters of heaven tier combat, exhibited little of visible growth from the feast. Their paths required far greater exertion. Ling Han clapped his hands, signalling the end of indulgence. Pots, bowls, and chopsticks were gathered with a sweep of his fingers, and the group turned to retrace their steps. "Shu Shu Ran and the others linger at the entrance," Ling Han mused. "The terrain offers no advantage. We must rely solely on skill." Helian Tianyun leapt forward, chest swelling with pride. "Leave it to me. I will crush them." Yet Ling Han's mischievous laugh followed him. "Do not perish so quickly after rebirth. At least reserve a trace of mystical power for my son." "You jinx!" Helian Tianyun roared, his voice bitter with impotent anger. Once a great lord of dragons, he now lacked the authority to command fear, even in words. At the threshold, Shu Shu Ran and his companions stood ready, anticipation etched on their faces. Helian Tianyun strode forward arrogantly. "Why do you not kneel in reverence, even as you behold me?" Shu Shu Ran's cohort, aware of Ling Han's possession of the spatial god tool, disregarded the newcomer. Donglinga stepped forward, her voice cutting like a saber. "Ling Han, surrender the true dragon's tooth and the spatial god tool. You shall not leave this place alive." Helian Tianyun's fury ignited. His once limitless pride had been slighted. With a roar, he unleashed the dragon's might, a surge of energy so overwhelming it bent the very air toward the 4 cultivators. Muffled groans echoed as the attackers strained against the might, pale with the effort of resisting even a fraction of its power. Xu Shi Ran, wielding the absolute saber, unleashed a torrent of saber intent, instantly countering the draconic force. The Son of Lightning followed suit with the mountains and rivers axe, its radiance forming a shield against the assault. Helian Tianyun's claws of frustration sank deeper. His power, once unstoppable, met resistance. A glance revealed the source: 2 spirit tools, the absolute saber and an imitation of the mountains and rivers axe, each imbued with ancient might, capable of resisting his dragon's aura. Relief, tinged with irritation, coursed through him. Without these instruments, the alternative dragon's wrath would have been absolute. Xu Shi Ran and the Son of Lightning moved swiftly to shield Donglinger and the small sword Emperor, reducing their combat efficiency. Ling Han, his laughter ringing like a bell, brandished the Revere life sword, carving a path forward through the chaos. Though the enemies struck with fury, the Revere life sword's swift path proved unstoppable. Ling Han seized the chance, retreating with his companions, leaving Xu Shi Ran trapped in uncertainty. Pursue and risk Donglinger and the small sword Emperor's lives, or stay and witness the loss of the true dragon's tooth? The choice frozen in hesitation, they remained still. Slowly, small sword Emperor and Donglinger recovered, their faces pale with the lingering terror of dragon's might. The situation has slipped beyond our grasp. We must return, summon the ultimate elites, and seize Ling Han and the true dragon's tooth. And that boy! His power! He released a dragon's might beyond reckoning. We cannot forgive him either. Their voices carried the weight of fear, echoing the gravity of forces far greater than themselves. Beneath the waning light that seeped through the jagged entrance of the ghostly dragon cave, Helian Tianyun led Ling Han and the others with a purposeful stride. Their mission was clear: harvest the precious dragon's bloodgrass along the winding, treacherous paths. Helian Tianyun himself had no need for such things. His veins thrummed with the essence of true dragon's tooth, a lineage whose purity rivaled even the mightiest of dragons. Yet for the other dragon-blooded, and for Ling Han in his cultivation of the 9 dragons' tyrant body art, these treasures were invaluable. Each blade of crimson grass, each glimmering shard of true dragon bloodstone promised leaps in power and fortitude. Time, though elusive within these ancient caverns, had left its mark. Centuries, perhaps millennia, had folded over the original body of Helian Tianyun, and though the cave had once held marvels untold, its glory was waning. The space itself decayed, the boundaries between inner sanctum and outer world crumbling into desolate ruins. In careful focus, one could feel the dying pulse of this domain. Yet Ling Han, undeterred, gathered his harvest in full, each treasure a step closer to mastery. 7 days passed, the shadows stretching longer with each stride, until finally the party emerged into the open air. But peace was fleeting. A roar split the sky, a violent force that twisted the very wind. There, above them, hovered Mo Yuan, a figure wrapped in the burning fury of shattering void-tier power. Flames licked at the air, a tempest of rage that made even the stones quake. He had heard the tale of Mo Zhengxin, the prodigy of his clan, felled by Ling Han, and his wrath had been stoked into a blazing inferno. "Human!" he thundered, each word searing the air. Helian Rong moved swiftly, positioning himself between Mo Yuan and their group. "What do you seek, Lord Mo?" He demanded, Mo Yuan's teeth clenched, his eyes smouldering like molten iron. "This one killed my kin! I shall capture him and bring him to the Mo clan for trial!" His aura surged like a storm unleashed, carrying the weight of 10, perhaps 11 stars of battle prowess. Helian Rong's gaze was cold, unflinching. "Is it not the natural law that those who reach for treasures risk their lives? If all acted as you do, Lord Mo, chaos would reign." Mo Yuan's inferno of anger flared further. "Yet this is a human. He has no right to tread the ghostly dragon cave," a calm, almost mocking voice replied. "And yet did you not also usher humans into its depths?" Helian Rong's eyes glimmered with the sharpness of a blade. "That was under the command of the Sea Emperor," Mo Yuan countered, though the heat of his anger made his words tremble. Helian Rong's lips curved into an even smile. "And he is also my son-in-law. Why should his presence differ?" The calm in his tone belied the storm he could summon at will. Mo Yuan's fury simmered, but it could not be quenched. Then it seems a battle is unavoidable. King Helion, consider well, for this may ignite a war between the West Sea and the North Sea. Helion Rong laughed, low and menacing. You are yet unworthy to speak for the West Sea. Blood and chi flared around Mo Yuan as he erupted, a storm of power striving to recapture the vigour of his waning years. His body, though tempered by experience, could not match the fire of youth without sublimation into sheer might. Around him, Shan Yutong assumed a battle stance, prepared to stand with Helion Rong, while Wenren subtly positioned himself, calculating opportunity amid the tension. Each presence wove a silent tapestry of strategy, all awaiting the clash to unfold. Yet before blades could be drawn, a voice, deceptively young and serene, cut through the mounting storm. Helion Tianyun emerged, hands clasped behind his back, eyes gleaming with authority. I shall arbitrate, he proclaimed. All grievances will end here. Now we must unite every force for the day when the skies themselves shall be sundered. The revelation sent ripples of shock through the assembled elites, splitting the heavens. An ancient secret, whispered across centuries, now spoken openly by a childlike figure, left even the most stalwart hearts in disbelief. Ling Han's shoulders rose in a slight shrug, the truth of millennia-old plans weighing behind his calm gaze. Mo Yuan's rage boiled over. He lunged, palm outstretched, intending to seize Ling Han and carry him away to public execution. But as Helion Tianyun's dragon's might surged, pure and unyielding, it crashed against Mo Yuan with the force of the earth itself. A sharp impact echoed. Pah! And the shattering void tier elite fell, humbled and broken, his flames of fury extinguished in an instant. The assembled powerhouses, Helion Rong, Shan Yutong, Wenren Jie, felt the tremor of this might reverberate through their bones. Mo Yuan, once a figure of fearsome strength, prostrated himself, shivering, eyes lifted in awe and terror. Lord, Ancestor Dragon, he stammered, realizing the overwhelming force that rendered even the shattering void tier powerless. Helion Tianyun's gaze swept across the kneeling elites, the aura of the true Ancestor Dragon flowing like molten steel through the air. One by one, even the proudest warriors were brought low, their knees touching the ground in reverence. The air itself seemed to quake with the majesty of his power. A silence fell over the gathered assembly. Awe mingling with fear, the real ruler, the true dragon of legend, stood before them, his presence a testament to millennia of dominion, his might far surpassing even the current Sea Emperor. And in that moment the world seemed to pause, recognizing the boundless authority of the dragon ancestor, the sovereign of both sky and sea. Helion Tianyun's voice finally cut through the stunned quiet. Now will you listen to my words? With bowed heads and hearts racing, Helion Rong and the others could only respond with one accord. Whatever your command, please give us your instructions. The dragon's might enveloped them completely, undeniable, overwhelming and eternal.